If you've been following current events, you've probably seen the headlines.
Protesters in Albania.
Protests in Albania's capital.
Turmoil in Albania.
A seventh day of protests over a planned luxury resort in Albania linked to Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump.
Dubbed the Flamingo Revolution.
The area is home to several endangered species, including flamingos and pelicans.
This is a luxury real estate project.
It begs the question, is foreign investment ruining Albania?
Are we the baddies?
I think a lot of people are looking at what's happening in Albania right now, and they're thinking about it as greedy foreign investors versus normal Albanians. And there's some truth to that, but I think it's a lot more complicated. Some of the same foreign investment that's causing real problems today might be one of the ways that Albania develops enough to create opportunities for the next generation. I know it doesn't matter how carefully I try and make this point. Some people aren't going to understand me, and some people are going to understand me and they're going to disagree with me anyway. And that's okay. I just felt like there was some nuance missing I really wanted to bring to the topic. First of all, let me say I unequivocally support the Albanian people, their right to democracy and freedom, and self-governance. As a foreigner that lives here, I care about Albania's long-term future and what's best for the country. I am no fan of billionaires ignoring local laws or corrupting governments. The real estate mega project here in Vlorë seems like it's going to hurt the ecosystem, it's going to damage the environment, and it's going to lead to some economic difficulties that's really going to hurt the local population. I sympathize for those people, and I wish this wasn't happening to them. It makes total sense to me that the country's erupted in protest. All that being said, there are some broader trends at play here that are going to shape the future of this country for all that live here, and I think they're worth discussing. Economic realities of life in Albania. Albania is still a developing country. The infrastructure's improved dramatically over the recent decades, but it's still inconsistent. I can attest to this personally. In January this year, there was an issue with the main water supply in Vlorë where we live, and the water was out in the entire city for a week, allegedly due to corruption. If you spend much time studying Albania, you're going to find that's a common theme. The national minimum wage here is about 500 euros a month. It is definitely not enough to comfortably cover the cost of living. You're going to find a lot of people really struggling here. Imagine you're 24 years old here in Vlorë, you make 500 euros a month, your family's here, your friends here, this is your home. The apartment next to you gets purchased by a foreign investor, and all of a sudden the real estate values rise, the rents rise, and the area that you grew up in seems like it's becoming unaffordable. Now imagine you're an Albanian that owns a property in the same neighborhood. Your asset just doubled in value. But that's the point. Most people are trapped in their economic circumstances. Albania has poor upward mobility. Upward mobility is the shift of individuals or groups from a lower to a higher social, economic, or occupational status. It's basically a way to measure if people can get out of poverty. It's challenging for people to escape poverty in Albania. The wages are lower than in most of Europe, and the job opportunities are rare. In fact, it's extremely common for people to just plan their lives around moving to another country because that seems like the only way to improve their future. This drives emigration. Emigration is the act of leaving one's native country or region to permanently settle or live in another. There are few things that seem as human to me as seeking out a new place to call home. I think humans naturally have this desire to seek a comfortable place to live. If things get bad and they feel like they can't get any better, we just naturally want to find a new place. That's why I'm here now. As long as there have been people migrating. But if young people leave, fewer entrepreneurs start businesses, fewer skilled workers remain, less tax revenue is generated, less domestic capital is available for investment. That's a reason countries with large emigration rates struggle to develop quickly. So, how will Albania develop? With the youth fleeing in such massive numbers and Albania not having a particular economic foothold, it's been really difficult for them to fund improving the country without some kind of outside force like foreign investment. That's why the government literally wants to attract it. On a small scale, that's where people like me come in. My wife and I purchased an apartment here in Vlorë to live. We frequent local businesses, we hire local contractors, and our demand for property here increases property values, providing real economic value in the community. But it's also where these huge mega projects like this luxury resort that's motivating protests across the country come in. It's all driving gentrification. That's a process in which a poor area experiences an influx of middle class or wealthy people who renovate and build homes and businesses. This is really where the nuance comes in. When an area starts developing, the infrastructure generally improves, which creates even more demand in that area. More demand leads to higher real estate prices, which creates even more demand, causes a feedback loop. Development leads to more development. As things improve and people profit from their investments, it motivates other people to want to invest as well. This demand invariably leads to rising prices and a rising cost of living. Renters are going to see rents go up. But for the people already invested in the community, like homeowners and business owners, they're going to see this as profit and growth. It's beneficial for them. The local businesses that we frequent, like the cafes or the grocery stores, the contractors that we hire, they all directly benefit from our presence and they appreciate us spending money in the economy here. As more people like myself come that purchase property and start small businesses, it helps create tax revenue that helps to fund development of infrastructure here in the country. As the country develops, it should lead to better jobs and higher wages, ideally creating conditions that the youth won't feel like they need to escape in order to have a better future for themselves. But in the meantime, this is likely going to lead to xenophobia. Xenophobia is the irrational fear, distrust, or hatred of strangers, foreigners, or anything perceived as foreign or different. Look, there are completely valid criticisms that can be made of the foreigners and the tourists that come here. I've got several. I've seen all kinds of encounters that are frustrating, where people are just behaving rudely or being inconsiderate of the local population. And unsurprisingly, this luxury development is drawing all kinds of ire from the local population. But my whole point is that US expats like myself that are coming here to build a new life and grow a community are not the same as the billionaire investors. My goal is to improve and contribute to a community that I intend to live in, whereas theirs is just to make as much money as possible, no matter the cost. Unfortunately, when people get frustrated, those distinctions often disappear. As time goes on and more development happens, I think we're going to start to see a shift towards a disliking of foreigners like myself. That's why people coming here to live from other countries always need to keep in mind that they're guests. Always be friendly and polite. As much as I care about the future of Albania, I understand that I'm never going to have the same relationship with it as someone who's lived here their whole life. So, am I a colonizer? The reason I struggle with this label is because it treats every foreigner as if we're the same. The foreigners coming to Albania right now are not all the same. People are coming from every economic background. Their impacts are not equal. There are billionaires developing luxury resorts, and there are digital nomads living out of backpacks, just passing through. There are retirees on limited fixed incomes. People want to come here and they want to start families or they want to build businesses. These are all very different people that affect the country very differently. Some of these people are genuinely helping and others are causing more harm than good. But they shouldn't all be lumped in the same category. Now, someone pushing back on my points might try and say that Albania shouldn't have to choose between poverty and foreign ownership. It could be argued that the country needs domestic investment, improved institutions, stronger government, and it shouldn't have to depend on outside investors. I agree with that. These positions are not mutually exclusive. No country exists in a vacuum. I expect it's going to be a combination of domestic improvements and foreign investments that are going to impact Albania's trajectory. I want to see Albania improve internally too. That's part of the point I'm trying to make here. I think foreigners finding value could actually help encourage locals to see more opportunity. I've gotten several messages from Albanians that have moved out of the country that thank me for reminding them how amazing Albania really is. Seeing an outsider's view offered them a more positive perspective they might not have found otherwise. Bottom line, is foreign investment hurting Albania, or is it helping to build the future that Albania needs? Most likely it's both, and that's what makes this conversation so difficult. Albania's economy is trying to grow. Many people feel like they need to leave in order to seek opportunity. But when they leave, there's a gap that foreign investors at every level can take advantage of. This development will cause growing pains and probably lead to a growing dislike of foreigners, sometimes for valid reasons. But ideally, this investment will lead to a better Albania, an Albania that the youth will no longer desire to leave. But what do I know? What do you think? Do you agree with me? You think I'm a terrible person? Let me have it in the comments. If you've enjoyed this and you'd like to support the channel, you can scan the QR code here, or you can look for the link in the description to buy me a coffee. This video was really tough to write. It took a lot of cups of coffee, so any support is greatly appreciated. If you want to help me get to 3,000 subscribers, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're looking for content about Albania or what it's like to be a US expat, but often feel like it's missing nuance, I'm glad you're here. You're in the right place. I got a lot of videos talking about it. YouTube thinks you're really gonna like this next one. See you soon.